For 7 years, I was my uncle's secret. Just as I was ready to take our relationship to the next level, I overheard him laughing with a friend. "She's your sworn brother's daughter, and you've managed to keep her on the hook for 7 years? I'm impressed. Now that you're engaged to Sasha, you'd better figure out an exit strategy. If your big brother finds out, what will you do?" The man who had been silent finally spoke, his voice chillingly detached. "What's the rush? Sasha's not even back in the country yet." I held back a sob and called my father. "Dad," I said, my voice hollow. "I'll marry into the Ethan family." I never expected my uncle would be the one to see me in the wedding car. When he realized I was truly getting married, his eyes turned red. "About the marriage alliance with the Ethan family, if you really don't want to, we can forget it." "Dad, I'll do it." This time, my father was the one who was stunned. The Ethan family had proposed this arrangement 3 times, and I had politely but firmly refused each time. My decisiveness had convinced him it was a lost cause. Just as he was about to give up and let me have my way, I had suddenly reversed course. He was silent for a moment. "The wedding date they proposed is very soon. If you agree, there will be no turning back." I said nothing. "Think it over carefully. I'll wait for your call." "Okay." The moment I hung up, Julian walked in. "What's wrong? You look like you've tasted something bitter," he said with a soft laugh, pulling me into his arms. His hands began to roam, familiar and possessive. "Julian, stop." I tried to push him away, to break the warm, suffocating spell he cast. But he was relentless, pulling me down onto the bed. "What's the matter? I thought you adored your uncle?" A storm of complicated emotions crashed over me along with his shower of kisses. I struggled, trying to create distance, but he pinned my hands to my sides, his strength unyielding. "My father has no biological siblings, but he has 7 sworn brothers who have been through hell and back with him. Julian is the youngest, the 7th, and the one I had clung to since I was a child. When I first followed him to the capital, he had been dismissive, barely speaking to me, rarely spending time with me. Gradually, things changed. He started buying me snacks, though they were never my favorite flavors. He took me out, taught me to play golf. He bought me makeup that didn't quite suit my complexion. And then, after a series of bold, unspoken invitations, I walked into his bedroom. I thought his silence was acceptance. I thought it was his way of sanctioning our forbidden relationship. We maintained this secret for 7 years. It turns out he didn't forget what I liked. He simply never cared to know. I was a stand-in for Sasha, a convenient substitute to be used and discarded at his leisure. The sharp buzz of a phone shattered the moment. It was his private phone, the one he used exclusively to communicate with my father. Julian sat up instantly, the desire in his eyes vanishing as if it had never been there. "Hello, big brother." He took the phone and walked out of the room, his voice respectful. I watched him go, then my eyes fell on his other phone, which was now vibrating and ringing loudly on the nightstand. I don't know when it happened, but the photo of us that had been his wallpaper was gone, replaced by a selfie of a beautiful woman I now knew was Sasha. I answered the call. "Julian, darling," a sweet voice chirped. "I'm back. I'm waiting for you at our old spot." When Julian returned, he smelled of alcohol. He looked at me, his expression a tangled mess of emotions. "Big brother said you're going home?" I nodded. He reached out and stroked my hair, a gesture that once would have melted me. "Did I do something to make you angry?" "Who's asking?" I replied, my voice sharper than I intended. "The you who is my uncle, or the you who is my lover?" "Chloe, don't be difficult." His eyes were full of a practiced tenderness, but his gaze kept darting to the phone in his hand, which had just buzzed with a message. "I have something urgent to take care of," he said, his tone apologetic but final. "I'll take you out tonight when I get back, okay?" He was in a hurry. A hurry to see the woman he truly wanted. "Will you be back tonight?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "This is our home. Of course, I'll be back." I knew that when Julian walked out that door, he likely wouldn't return. Still, a foolish part of me waited until 5:30 in the morning. When the clock hands aligned between the 5 and the 6, I finally picked up my phone, blinking back the tears that threatened to fall. "Dad," I said, my voice steady. "I've thought it over. I'll marry him." If I had insisted on being with Julian, would my father have eventually given in? Perhaps. But I no longer wanted a love that was so fundamentally dirty. For 3 straight days, I didn't see Julian. But I received vague, perfunctory texts from him daily. My second and fourth uncles were also in the capital, and my fifth uncle had flown in specifically for me. They threw a farewell banquet in my honor. Julian showed up. One second, I had a text from him saying he was exhausted and napping at the office. The next, he was pulling open the door to our private dining room. He froze. When he saw me, a look of genuine surprise on his face. He hadn't expected to see me here. He had no idea that today was the day I was leaving the capital forever. "Uncle," I said, my voice even. Before Julian could react, the woman on his arm had linked hers with mine. "You must be the niece," she said with a bright smile. "I'm your uncle's fiancée, Sasha." I expected Julian to look flustered, ashamed. But I had underestimated him. He simply nodded. "You should call her auntie," he corrected me. After a round of greetings, we all sat down. During the meal, Sasha accidentally spilled a bowl of hot soup on me. "What are you doing?" I snapped. She looked flustered. "Oh, dear niece, I'm so sorry." I was getting some soup for Julian, and I was just so focused on him. I knew that one doesn't spill soup on someone else while staring at a third person. I stared at her, and Julian quickly jumped to her defense. "Your aunt didn't do it on purpose. She's already apologized. Don't make a scene." The tension thickened. My second uncle stepped in. "You two, save the public displays of affection for home. What is this, in broad daylight?" I rolled up my sleeve. A large red patch was already forming on my arm. "By the way, second brother," Sasha piped up, "did you ask big brother why he suddenly wants to take his niece home? With his temper?" "You think I'd dare ask?" my uncle replied. Then, all eyes turned to me. Including Julian's. "It's nothing," I said. "I just missed my family." "When are you leaving?" "I'll see you off," Sasha offered, her smile a little too sharp. Her feigned kindness and their probing stares were suffocating. I made an excuse and left the room. The cold air hit my damp clothes, making me shiver. I didn't see the look of conflicted apology on Julian's face as I walked away. The moment I was out, a message from him arrived. "Julian, is the burn bad? Should I take you to the hospital?" "Julian, Sasha and it's not what you think. I'll explain when I get back." My finger hovered over the screen for a second before I deleted the entire conversation. I went to the empty room next door to cool off by the window. When I opened the door to leave, I saw 2 figures pressed against the wall in a dark corner of the hallway. At first, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. But then I saw it clearly. Julian had Sasha pinned against the wall, kissing her with a passion he had so often shown me. I remembered the look in his eyes when he whispered sweet nothings to me. It was the exact same look. "Julian, have you ever told me a single truth?" Sasha's hands were tangled in his tie, pulling it loose. The scene was sordid, and it burned my eyes. I turned to leave, but the click of the door gave me away. They broke apart, their expressions not of embarrassment, but of annoyance at being interrupted. I went home first. To my surprise, Julian followed me. This time, his fiancée was not with him. "Get out," I said. He ignored me, pushing his way in. He lifted me effortlessly, carried me to the bed, and pushed up my sleeve. "Let me see. I need to make sure it's not serious." It was all over. His charade had crumbled. What was the point of pretending anymore? He cleaned the burn and applied ointment with practiced hands. I watched him silently, wondering what his game was now. As he wiped his hands, he spoke casually. "You were very rude to Sasha today. You scared her. You should go apologize, smooth things over. I didn't explode. I just laughed. So that was his goal. And if I don't? He looked up, his eyes turning to ice. It was a terrifying look. Is that how Big Brother raised you? I only know that my father would never let anyone lay a finger on me. He was silent for a moment. He knew it was true. I just took a shower, what's with the tension? I turned. Sasha was standing in the doorway, wrapped in a small, Hello Kitty bath towel. My bath towel. Chloe, she said, holding out a box of pastries. I brought you some snacks. Try them. I don't like them. Oh, really? But Julian buys you these flavors all the time. I thought you liked them too. Her smile was pure mockery. It was true, he often bought me these kinds of pastries. He always chose them himself. By the way, he interjected, Big Brother said you're going home, right? I have something on the day you leave, so I'll have your sixth uncle see you off. I know. Get some rest, then. He led Sasha out of the room. I took the pastries and threw them in the trash. Sasha's presence made our 7 years together feel like a sick joke. Every time I had wanted to go public, Julian would say the same thing. If your father finds out, he'll tear me limb from limb. What, are you trying to get your uncle killed? I'll stop him, I would promise. And he would just hold me. The love I thought was real had dissolved into nothing. Unsurprisingly, I sat up all night again. On social media, my third uncle posted a photo. It was of Sasha and Julian in bed together. Their necks covered in love bites. It was a suggestive, intimate picture. It was deleted almost immediately, replaced by a new post. Uncle number 3, that Julian, so shy. Weren't you the ones who posted it in the first place? I scrolled through their feeds. There was nothing. It didn't matter anymore. This relationship, this man. I was done. The day I left, Julian didn't come to see me off. My third and sixth uncles came instead. The moment I got in the car, I received a notification. Sasha had followed me and sent a direct message. It was a picture of my room, completely redecorated. After I followed her back, another message came through. Sasha, Chloe, dear, you won't be coming around much anymore, will you? Your uncle and I are thinking of turning your room into a nursery for our baby. You don't mind, do you? He said I didn't need to ask you, but I thought it would be better to let you know. I replied with 2 words, as you wish. I knew I would never return to that place. After landing, I was immediately whisked away by the house staff for a wedding dress fitting. The Ethan family's wedding preparations were elaborate. I was busy. For 3 days straight. I also learned that Julian's wedding was scheduled for the same time. He wasn't seeing me off because he was busy with his own wedding. Your uncle is also getting married today, so he couldn't come, my dad told me as we prepared to leave. I'll be driving you myself. Okay. I blocked Julian on everything. As I got into the wedding car, I prayed I wouldn't run into him. But some things are unavoidable. Fate has a cruel sense of humor. My father took a sharp turn, then looked back at me reassuringly. We almost collided with Julian's wedding procession. It's okay. I clutched the fabric of my dress. Julian's entourage was filled with members of our own family. When they saw my father driving, they all waved and called out greetings. And then, Julian himself got out of his car. Isn't that a wedding car? Who is Big Brother chauffeuring for? He walked over quickly, and my father rolled down the window. Big Brother. Julian. Julian turned and motioned for his procession to make way. Big Brother, whose wedding are you driving for? He asked, then peered inside the car. His eyes landed on me. Chloe? For a split second, his composure cracked. But with my father there, he said nothing more. Sir, it will take a moment to move the cars, someone said. Big Brother. My fifth uncle rushed over and whispered something in my father's ear. My father frowned, then turned to me, his expression softening. I'll be right back, sweetheart. Okay. The moment my father was gone, Julian grabbed my arm. Get out. What are you doing? His face was a thundercloud. How long are you going to keep this up? Dragging Big Brother into this childish game of make-believe. I looked at him with disdain. Uncle, do you even know why I went home? He hesitated, either searching for an answer or stunned by my formal address. Whatever the reason, it's no excuse for this nonsense. Faking a marriage? How could you? I laughed softly. Dressed in this magnificent gown, veiled in white, he thought this was all an act for his benefit? Don't flatter yourself. Uncle, this marriage is real. He frowned. Then where's the groom? Do you find this amusing? He was about to say more, but my father returned. What Julian said wasn't entirely wrong. I didn't know why Ethan wasn't here. Rumor had it he was sickly and couldn't be exposed to the elements. Very few people had ever seen him. Whatever. Whether Julian believed me or not was irrelevant to my wedding. The car moved forward, and we nearly rear-ended Sasha's car. She slowly pulled aside. As we started to move again, she called out. To me. When she saw it was really me, she was just as surprised as Julian had been. But she quickly recovered, her smile returning. Niece, who are you marrying? Ethan from the Ethan family. Her face registered shock, whether real or feigned, I couldn't tell. Her voice was deliberately loud. Him? Isn't he a sickly invalid? All eyes turned to me. Chloe, she said, her tone a mix of pity and mockery. Are you marrying him to cure his illness with your good luck, or to be a young widow? I couldn't read her smile, but I knew one thing, Julian was panicking. My fifth uncle patted Julian's arm. All right, chit-chat's over, we're leaving. Julian, if you have time later, stop by the Ethan estate to offer a toast. Julian's gaze was searing. I turned away and closed the window. Dad, let's go. The car had just started moving when it screeched to a halt. I could hear shouts from outside, people yelling Julian's name. I looked up. Julian was standing in front of the car, blocking our path. The atmosphere inside the car became dangerously tense. I could feel my father's barely contained rage. Big Brother, is Chloe really marrying Ethan? Julian asked, his voice strained. Yes. Having received his answer, Julian still didn't move. Julian. Move, my father commanded. The 5 words froze the air. Everyone looked terrified. A few of the uncles who didn't know the whole story rushed to pull Julian away. It's the niece's big day. What's gotten into you? Move it. Julian, get back here. Your wife is waiting. They practically had to drag him back to his car. I turned my head, missing the look he sent my way. Julian wasn't supposed to have his wedding in this city. But he had long been formally accepted into our family. Today, he was meant to bring Sasha to our ancestral home to pay respects. By all accounts, it should have been a day of double celebration for our family. The Ethan estate was nestled deep in the mountains. The entire winding road was decorated with red banners and silk, the sound of gongs and drums filling the air. As I got out of the car, I was still nervous. I looked around, but saw no strangely cloaked figure. The mysterious Mr. Ethan had insisted on marrying me, but on the day itself, he had left me to face this alone. What are you looking for? I looked up. The man who had opened my car door took my hand. The butlers and maids cheered. The bride and groom are entering. Under a sky exploding with fireworks, the man led me inside. Only then did I realize. He was Ethan. What are you thinking about now? He asked softly. I had been staring at his face. You really thought I was a creature of the dark? He gently lifted my veil. I lowered my head, letting him. I thought you were an invalid. That it wouldn't be convenient for you to come. It's an Ethan family tradition, he explained. The bride is brought by her father, and I bring you through the door. It ensures a long and happy life together. The officiant began the ceremony, reciting the vows. I followed Ethan's lead and said, I do. Besides, he leaned in and whispered, if I were an invalid, how could I bear to let you be a living widow? The officiant was asking us to exchange rings, but I barely heard him. The ring bearer brought 2 small boxes, and Ethan and I placed the rings on each other's fingers. You may now kiss the bride. Ethan looked at me, his eyes deep and serious. The guests behind us began to cheer, eagerly awaiting the moment. I closed my eyes, waiting for his lips to meet mine, when a tense voice cut through the air. Chloe Lou. Julian had come. My father frowned from his seat. The other uncles instinctively moved to block Julian. The Ethan family is here. Don't make a fool of yourself. Julian, what is wrong with you today? Julian looked at me, his expression frantic. Ethan, unfazed, leaned in and placed a gentle kiss on my cheek. When he pulled back, Julian was staring at me, his eyes burning. He ripped the celebratory boutonniere from his chest and threw it to the ground. Uncles, please, let him through, I said, my voice steady. My uncle and I are very close. Perhaps, he has some last words of advice for me. I turned to Ethan, asking for a moment. When I turned back, Julian was standing right in front of me. His eyes were red-rimmed. Uncle is getting married today, yet you still found time to come see me. I can rest easy now. After I marry into the Ethan family, I'll have someone looking out for me. Before I could finish, Julian pulled me into his arms. My father, who had been simmering with rage, shot to his feet. The members of the Ethan family exchanged uneasy glances but said nothing. After all, Julian was one of us. You don't know each other, Julian whispered desperately in my ear. You won't be happy with him. And who do I know? You're just going to throw your life away like this? What about me? He pointed at himself, his voice trembling. He looked as if I were the one who had betrayed him. I pushed him away. Uncle, don't forget who you are. Ethan stepped closer to me. Sir, he said to Julian, his voice polite but firm. If you are here to offer congratulations, you are welcome to any seat. If you are here to cause trouble, then you will not be welcome. The meaning was clear. Chloe, it was my fault, I was wrong, please give me another chance, just one, I'm begging you. Julian's plea was cut short by the sound of a sharp slap. My father had struck him, sending his head snapping to the side. Julian wiped his mouth, a dark stain appearing on the pristine black of his suit. We should go to the reception hall, I said quickly. Of course, I nodded, desperate to escape. But Julian grabbed my wrist. Chloe, I regret it. You don't love him, do you? His eyes were bloodshot, the veins in his neck standing out. If he weren't wearing a wedding suit, I might have fallen for his honeyed poison all over again. Whispers were already spreading through the crowd. Julian's grip was like iron. Chloe, please, I'm begging you, just think about it again, please? My father ripped off his tie and tie clip, and landed a solid punch on Julian's jaw. You too, go to the hall. Julian crumpled to the ground, clutching his face. Chloe. My father unbuttoned his cuffs, then turned to my new in-laws with a smile. Once I've dealt with this family matter, I will personally apologize. Fifth and sixth brother, please escort our new family to the hall and wait for me. Ethan opened the car door for me. I hesitated, looking back. Julian was spitting a mouthful of blood into his hand, coughing weakly. I should go see. I started back, but my fifth uncle stopped me. Little ancestor, you'll only make things worse. Your father knows what he's doing. But. Ethan's voice cut in. Let me go instead. Wait. But he was already gone. I watched as Ethan said something to my father. Then, to my utter astonishment, the two of them walked back together, arm in arm. My father was not an easy man to persuade, especially when he was angry. Ethan gently guided my head. Come on. Time for toasts. Later, I asked him how he did it. He just stroked my hair. Call me husband and I'll tell you. My face burned, but he just laughed. On the other side of town, Sasha was not laughing. She had destroyed her dressing room. The guests waited and waited, but the groom never appeared. Where is Julian? Have you found him? Miss Sasha. Mr. Liu, he may be delayed. She shot to her feet. What do you mean, delayed? Sir, he was assaulted by Mr. Liu Sr. He's unconscious in the hospital. Sasha was stunned. Chloe got married today. Her father should be happy. Why would he attack Julian on such a joyous day? She paced frantically. Suddenly, she grabbed the messenger by the collar. What did Julian do? Sir, he tried to stop the wedding. The color drained from Sasha's face. She stumbled backward and collapsed onto the floor, her hands clutching her wedding dress so tightly her nails drew blood, staining the white fabric. She forced herself to calm down, went out to appease the guests, then changed out of her dress and rushed to the hospital. My wedding, by contrast, went smoothly. The Ethan family, as my father had said, was a much better fit for my life, and for our family's current needs. We had some history. In college, we had rented apartments across the hall from each other, and our parents had told us to look out for one another. I was a different person then, spoiled and carefree, and I used to drag the then skinny Ethan out on adventures, promising to protect him. He went abroad for his career, and I hadn't seen him since. Do you remember college? He asked me that night. Of course, I nodded. He looked at me, his eyes overflowing with an emotion that his calm, rational words belied. Ethan, why did you want to marry me? From the moment we met until now. I have been in love with you for 9 years. And for this wedding. I have waited for you for 3. He leaned down and kissed my forehead. Good night, my wife. He started to turn away, but I reached up and pulled him back by the neck. Ethan, are you going to let people say I can't even keep my husband for one night? I'm willing to accept your kindness, I whispered. He stayed. A few days later, we were woken by the incessant buzzing of my phone. Chloe, are you there? If you are, answer your second uncle right away. Uncle, what's wrong? It's Julian, he's been on a hunger strike for 2.5 days. He keeps demanding to see you. Why would he want to see me? I was startled, my sleepiness gone. Ethan came over with breakfast. He woke up in the hospital yesterday and tried to find you, but Sasha stopped him. They argued, and he told her everything. When Big Brother heard, he had him confined. He hasn't had a drop of water since. Chloe? Are you there? Chloe, please reply. My mind was a fog. Ethan placed a sandwich in my hand and took the phone. Uncle, we'll be right there. After a moment of surprise, my uncle replied. Thank you, nephew-in-law. Of course. Ethan rubbed his eyes, and I felt a pang of guilt. He stopped me before I could speak. Go. He's still your uncle. When we arrived, Julian was already unconscious. The doctor said a blood clot in his brain had burst. He would be in a coma for about 3 months, followed by a long hospital stay. The incident was gradually forgotten. About 3 months later, I received a message. Julian was awake. I didn't rush to see him. My life had settled into a new, happy rhythm. Everything was moving in the right direction. When I thought of Julian now, the old feelings were gone. On the day he was discharged, I went to the hospital. Many people were there. Ethan and I were the last to arrive. When Julian saw me, his eyes filled with tears. Does this man look at a stray dog with the same deep emotion? Uncle, since you're awake, you should follow my father's instructions and return to the capital soon. I placed a gift on the table. I came to see you off. I don't know when we'll meet again. My father had given a strict order. Julian was not to set foot in this city again without his permission. I want to talk to you alone, he said, then shot a hostile, wary glance at Ethan. You're not that petty, are you, Mr. Ethan? Ethan just shrugged. Julian led me to a quiet spot outside. It was autumn, and the dry leaves rustled underfoot. I was thinking that I should ask Ethan to go see the maple forest with me tomorrow. I was so lost in thought that I didn't hear what Julian was saying behind me. Really, just say the word, and I'll take you away from all this. He stepped forward eagerly. I stepped back. The title uncle is the only relationship we have. I'll talk to Dad, try to get you permission to come back for the new year. I gently patted my stomach, a small, serene smile on my face. When Julian saw my slightly rounded belly, his eyes widened in disbelief. They instantly turned red again. But, you'll probably be spending this New Year's Eve in the capital. Chloe. He started to say more, but I just smiled. Uncle, it's getting late. Ethan is taking me for a prenatal checkup. I won't see you to the station. I turned and walked away, not caring about his reaction. I looked back, and saw that behind a cluster of trees, my father and Ethan were standing together. They were arm in arm, laughing about something. When they saw me, they both rushed over, flanking me protectively. Is that boy taken care of? My father asked. Yes. Where are we going to have fun now? I'm so excited. Your in-laws are already at the park. Your mother and I are heading there too. Great. Can we all go together after my appointment? Of course. We'll all wait for you. Ethan brushed a stray leaf from my coat. There are some good movies out now. Dad, if you have time, should we go see one? I suggested. Of course, I have all the time in the world. I'll have someone buy tickets and popcorn. Great. And don't forget my favorite milk tea. I linked my arms with both of them. Can we bring sixth uncle? I heard he has a new girlfriend, prettier than me even. My father tapped my nose. All right. If you call him, he'll come. Then Dad, make sure he brings his girlfriend. The three of us walked towards the car, bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun. Behind us, Julian stood alone in the desolate landscape. The wind stripped the last leaves from the trees, leaving him, and the world around him, bare and cold.